And now your hosts, Christopher and Jenny, in Making Money with English.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're going to be talking about something super practical. Making money with B1 level English.
Yeah.
I know tons of you are at this level and maybe thinking, what can I actually do with this? I was surprised, actually blown away by how much is out there.
Absolutely.
But first, let's give a shout out to our sponsor, Pineal Guardian.
Pineal Guardian's products have helped thousands of people improve their memory, which of course is great for your professional and personal life.
Absolutely, and that's so important for adult learners too.
Yeah.
Especially if you're learning English to boost your career.
Sure.
Just imagine remembering all that vocab and grammar without even breaking a sweat. And if anything we talk about today sounds a little fuzzy, don't worry. We've got a link down below with more info, so check it out.
Great.
Okay, back to B1 English and all the ways you can actually make money with it. I was seriously impressed by the sheer variety of stuff that's out there.
It is really impressive. And sometimes people get a little discouraged thinking B1 isn't enough, but it's a big deal.
It is.
It shows dedication, and honestly, it opens doors to a surprising number of income streams.
That's reassuring to hear. One thing that came up a lot was this whole selling yourself thing. To be honest, that phrase always makes me kind of cringe.
Yeah.
It sounds so pushy.
Yeah, I get it. It definitely doesn't have to be aggressive or inauthentic, though. Think of it more like strategically highlighting your strengths.
Okay.
Like, you worked hard to reach a B1 level that's valuable.
It is.
It shows commitment, a willingness to learn, and the ability to communicate in a global language.
Right.
So selling yourself is more about showcasing those qualities effectively on your resume, your online presence, and just how you present yourself, like in interviews and stuff.
Okay, I'm seeing it in a new light now. One funny thing that one of the sources mentioned, they actually landed a job at Disney World because of their accent.
Oh, wow.
I always thought an accent would be a disadvantage if you want to work in English,
Yeah.
but it sounds like it's not always the case.
Yeah, it really depends. Accents can be fascinating. Like in tourism or hospitality, an accent can actually be a huge plus.
Really?
Yeah, it makes you memorable. It can help you connect with certain clients. Heck, it can even be a conversation starter.
That's so interesting.
Obviously, clear communication is key no matter what.
Right.
But an accent doesn't have to hold you back. In fact, it can be a unique part of your personal brand.
That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah.
Let's dive into some of the actual opportunities because we found a whole bunch.
We did.
Everything from online stuff like freelancing, online teaching, e-commerce, even social media management. Then there's offline things like waiting tables, being a tour guide. The list goes on.
It does.
Where should we start?
Well, the online world is booming right now, especially for B1 English speakers. Let's start with freelancing.
Okay.
It offers tons of flexibility. You can work from anywhere, and you can potentially earn a good income.
Freelancing sounds so appealing, but I'm not even sure where to start.
Oh, I know. It can be overwhelming, but there are tons of resources to help you get started. And there's so much variety within freelancing.
Like what?
You've got writing, like blog posts, product descriptions, even website copy.
Right.
Then you have things like virtual assistants, data entry. The list is really endless.
Wow.
And platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, Freelancer, these are great places to find gigs and start building a portfolio.
That's awesome. What about teaching? I've always thought tutoring could be cool, but I never thought my B1 level was enough.
Online tutoring is actually huge right now. You could teach English to learners at a lower level than you.
Whoa.
Or if you have expertise in another area, you could tutor that subject, but in English.
Okay.
And there are platforms like Italki and Verbaling that connect you with students worldwide, so you can literally teach from anywhere with an internet connection.
Wow.
Plus, teaching helps you solidify your own knowledge. When you got to explain something to somebody else, it forces you to really understand it.
That's so true. It's a good reminder that learning's an ongoing thing, even when you're the one teaching.
Yeah.
Okay, what about e-commerce and social media management? Those seem like they'd need super fluent English.
Not really. Platforms like Shopify and Etsy make it super easy to set up an online store. And you don't need to be Shakespeare to write good product descriptions or engaging social media posts.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I think I've been underestimating what I can do with B1.
I think a lot of people do. And as you gain experience, you can always keep improving your English.
Right.
But for now, focus on what you can do with what you've got.
Okay, so we've covered some exciting online stuff, but what about offline? The source talked about things like Waiting tables or becoming a tour guide, those sound like they need a lot of face-to-face interaction.
Definitely. And those types of jobs can be incredibly rewarding. I actually worked as a barista in my early 20s, and it was an awesome experience.
Ooh.
I had to get over my shyness, practice speaking English all the time, and learn how to handle all sorts of customers.
It must have been challenging.
It was tough sometimes, but it really helped me build confidence and get better at communication.
I bet those experiences were so valuable. And it seems like those kinds of jobs are pretty easy to find, especially in touristy places.
Totally. And even if you're not interacting with customers directly, there are other jobs that need B1 level English.
Like what?
Things like logistics, administrative support, even some types of manufacturing.
Wow, I'm seeing so many paths now.
There are. The key is to focus on your strengths, highlight those language skills when you apply for stuff, and just be ready to show what you can do in interviews.
Great advice. Before we move on, I want to go back to freelancing for a minute.
Okay, yeah.
It seems so perfect for B1 English speakers, the flexibility and all that.
For sure. The online world really is a game changer for language learners.
I'm interested in content writing, personally. I love to write, and I've thought about making some money from it. But I'm not sure I'm fluent enough to write professionally.
Well, content writing is massive right now, and there are opportunities for all levels of writers. You don't need to be like some literary genius to get started. Lots of entry-level content writing jobs only require a B1 level.
Oh, good to know. What kind of entry-level stuff should I be looking for?
Well, you could start with things like blog posts, product descriptions, social media captions, even simple website copy.
Right.
Then, as you get more experience and confidence, you can move on to more complex writing tasks like articles, ebooks, maybe even marketing materials.
It's all about building up those skills, right?
Exactly. Besides writing, there's virtual assistants. That's a popular one.
What does that involve?
You'd be providing support to clients remotely, doing administrative, technical, or even creative stuff.
Okay.
Think scheduling appointments, managing email, creating presentations, handling social media, even basic web design or data entry.
So I could be like a virtual assistant for someone, helping them with all sorts of things in English.
Yeah, basically. And since more and more people are working remotely these days, virtual assistance is a really sought-after skill.
That's good to know. What other freelancing gigs are out there?
If you have a knack for languages, you could try translation or proofreading.
Oh, yeah.
Even at a B1 level, you can translate simple texts or proofread for basic errors.
That's a cool idea. And it would be a great way to improve my English while earning money.
Exactly. With freelancing, you get to learn and earn at your own pace while building up a portfolio of work to show potential clients.
This is so inspiring. It feels like a whole world has opened up.
It is exciting, right? And as your English gets better, even more doors open. It's a journey.
I'm starting to see that. It's like the better your English gets, the more opportunities open up, and the more opportunities you have, the more you can practice and improve.
Exactly. It's a cycle. But for now, let's focus on taking those first steps.
Hey, thanks for being here with Making Money with English. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Now, let's get back to the podcast.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We're picking up right where we left off, exploring all the amazing ways B1 English speakers can earn money. All right, I'm ready to get specific. In part one, we talked about some general stuff. But now I want to zoom in on those job categories where B1 can really shine.
Great idea. One that comes up all the time is customer service. It's a huge field, tons of opportunities, both online and offline.
So let's say I'm interested in customer service. What kind of roles should I be looking at with my B1 level?
Well, call centers are a great place to start.
Okay.
Lots of companies, especially global ones, they need people who can handle inquiries in English.
That makes sense. I've heard some people say that call centers actually prefer non-native speakers, though. Is that true?
Yeah, there's some truth to that. Non-native speakers often have a better understanding of cultural nuances and different accents, which is really valuable in customer service.
Oh, interesting.
Plus, they might be more patient and empathetic with customers who are also non-native English speakers.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought of that. But wouldn't I need perfect fluency for a job like that?
Nope, not at all. B1 means you've got a good grasp of everyday English. It's more about communicating clearly and problem solving, not sounding like a native speaker.
So as long as I can understand the customers and respond to them well, I'd be a good candidate.
Exactly. Plus, with call center work, you're getting constant language practice,
Yes. Yeah.
talking to people all day, which can really boost your fluency and confidence.
That's a plus. But I've also heard it can be pretty repetitive and stressful.
Yeah.
How can people find a balance between getting that language practice and actually enjoying the job?
That's a great question. It's all about finding the right fit. Some people love that fast-paced, high-volume environment. Others prefer a slower pace, maybe with more complex inquiries.
Right.
So do your research, read reviews, maybe even try to talk to people who work at different call centers just to get a feel for the culture and the environment.
That's good advice. Besides call centers, what other customer service roles are out there?
Retail is a big one. Think about sales assistants, cashiers, customer service reps in stores. These roles involve interacting with customers face-to-face, answering questions, helping them find products, processing transactions, all in English.
Sounds like a good way to use your English in real life and get comfortable talking to native speakers.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of room for growth in retail. Many companies offer training to help employees develop their customer service skills and their English.
All right, customer service is on my list now. What about the hospitality industry? I know lots of hotels and restaurants need English speakers, especially if they're in touristy areas.
Oh, for sure. Hospitality is a goldmine for B1 English speakers. We're talking about jobs like hotel receptionists, waiters, concierges, tour guides, all sorts of things.
I bet it'd be fun to work in that kind of environment, meeting people from all over the world.
It definitely can be. And you're using your English every day, which is fantastic for improving your fluency and confidence.
Okay, customer service and hospitality. Check and check. What other industries should we think about?
Logistics is another one. A lot of jobs in logistics need English skills, especially if they involve international shipping and communication.
Oh, right.
Companies that import and export goods need people who can handle documentation, track shipments, and communicate with partners in other countries.
Interesting. So what kind of jobs are we talking about?
Logistics coordinators, warehouse assistants, freight forwarders, even delivery drivers who handle international routes. And with e-commerce booming, those logistics jobs are in high demand.
It's a growing field then.
Definitely. Lots of potential there. What about administrative support? Those jobs might not sound super exciting, but they can be a good way to get your foot in the door.
Yeah, I could see that.
Companies always need office assistants, data entry clerks, things like that, and often they need a B1 level of English.
Okay.
These jobs can be pretty stable, regular hours, and a good chance to get experience, build your resume, and improve your English in a professional environment.
All right, so we've got customer service, hospitality, logistics, administrative support. It seems like a B1 level can really open doors to a lot of different industries.
It really can. Focus on your strengths, highlight your language skills on those applications, and be ready to show them what you've got in an interview.
Awesome advice. Before we move on, I want to circle back to freelancing again.
Yeah, let's do it.
We talked about it a bit in part one, but I think it's such a good option for people with B1 English. So much flexibility and independence.
Definitely. It's a game changer.
I'm personally interested in content writing. I love to write, and I've thought about trying to make some money from it, but I'm not sure I'm fluent enough to write professionally.
You know, content writing is booming, and there's work for all levels. You don't have to be a literary genius to get started. There are tons of entry-level jobs that just require a B1 level.
Oh, that's encouraging. What kind of entry-level writing should I be looking for?
You could start with blog posts, product descriptions, social media captions, even simple website copy. As you get more experience and confidence, you can move on to more complex things like articles, ebooks, maybe marketing materials.
So it's all about gradually building up your skills.
Exactly. And besides writing, there's virtual assistants that's super popular.
Right, we talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
What other freelancing options should we be thinking about?
Well, if you're good with languages, you could look into translation or proofreading.
Oh, right.
Even with B1 English, you can translate simple texts or proofread for basic errors.
That's a great idea. It would be a fun way to improve my English even more.
Definitely. Freelancing gives you that chance to learn and earn at your own pace while building a portfolio of work that you can show to potential clients.
This is so awesome. I'm feeling really inspired.
Me too. It's amazing how many doors open up when you have those language skills.
It really is. And we got to remember that learning doesn't stop.
Oh, yeah.
Even while we're applying for jobs and building our careers, we can keep improving our English and opening up even more possibilities.
I totally agree. So to everyone listening, keep learning, keep practicing, and keep exploring everything you can do with your language skills.
I'm feeling super motivated after exploring all those job possibilities in parts 1 and 2.
Yeah, it was pretty eye-opening.
Now I'm ready to get down to business.
Yeah.
How do we actually land these awesome gigs?
Right. Let's talk strategy. How do we turn that B1 level English into a job offer?
Okay, so I think a lot of listeners are probably feeling a bit intimidated by the whole application process, especially when English isn't our first language. What are some practical things we can do to make our applications stand out and really showcase our skills?
It's all about strategy and presentation. We got to make sure we're showing our best side. Let's start with the basics, your resume and cover letter. First things first, they got to be error-free, no typos, no grammar mistakes.
Yeah, definitely. I've totally been guilty of submitting applications with typos in the past. It's embarrassing.
It happens, but in a competitive job market, those little things can really hurt you. So use a spell checker, a grammar checker, and if you can, have a native English speaker look it over.
Good advice.
Once you're sure everything is polished, it's time to highlight that B1 English. Instead of just saying B1 level, show them how you've used those skills.
Oh, I see. So instead of just listing B1 level English, I could give specific examples like successfully communicated with English-speaking clients or used English to collaborate with international colleagues.
Exactly. Those concrete examples really show what you can do, you know? It gives potential employers a much better sense of your language skills.
That's a really helpful tip. What about cover letters? Any secrets for making those more interesting?
Think of your cover letter as your chance to tell a story. Connect with the employer. Show them your passion for the company. Let your personality shine through and explain why you're the perfect person for that specific job.
I love that. It's like, even in a professional setting, we can still be ourselves.
Exactly. Okay, so resumes and cover letters are covered. Now let's talk about the interview.
Oh.
I know, right?
For a lot of people, that's the scariest part, especially when English isn't your native language.
It can be nerve-wracking for sure, but interviews are also a chance to shine.
True.
The key is preparation. Practice makes perfect. Do some mock interviews with friends, record yourself answering typical interview questions, maybe even work with a language coach to polish your answers.
All good ideas. But what happens if I freeze up in the actual interview? What if I just can't think of the right words?
It's totally normal to feel nervous. Just remember, the people interviewing you are human too. They get it.
Right.
They understand that you're probably nervous and that English might not be your first language. So just focus on communicating clearly, speak slowly, use simple language, and don't be afraid to ask if you don't understand something.
It's funny, sometimes I get so flustered that I forget I could just ask for clarification.
Yeah, it happens. Take a deep breath before you start talking, make eye contact, try to connect with the interviewers, and remember, it's not a test, it's a conversation.
Good point. Any other tips for handling the nerves?
Try to relax and be yourself. Show them why you'd be awesome on their team.
Great advice. Okay, we've talked about resumes, cover letters, interviews. What about all those online job boards? Any tips for using those effectively?
Job boards are a goldmine, but they can be overwhelming. Start with the big ones like Indeed, LinkedIn, Glassdoor. Filter your searches by location, industry, the language skills they need.
Oh, and don't forget about the platforms specifically for freelancers, like Upwork and Fiverr.
Yes, those connect freelancers with clients from all over the world. It really opens things up.
It does. And networking is important too, right?
Absolutely. Online and offline. Go to industry events, connect with people on LinkedIn. Even just talking to friends and family can lead to something. You never know who might know someone who's hiring.
That's so true. So basically, put yourself out there, make connections, and make sure you're showcasing those skills.
Exactly. And remember, job hunting can be tough. Don't get discouraged. Keep at it. And with the right attitude and preparation, you'll find the perfect opportunity. Your B1 English can take you far.
This has been such an empowering deep dive. I feel like I have a whole new perspective on what I can do with a B1 level English.
It's amazing how much potential is unlocked when you have those language skills.
Right. And it's so important to remember that learning never stops. Even while we're applying for jobs, building our careers, we can keep improving our English and opening up even more possibilities.
For sure. To everyone listening, keep learning, keep practicing, and keep exploring all those amazing things you can achieve with your language skills.
It's been great diving deep into this topic with you. And to our listeners, thanks for joining us. We hope you found this informative, inspiring, and maybe even a little life-changing. Until next time, keep those brains buzzing and those ambitions soaring.
And remember, the world is your oyster.
Thanks for listening Making Money with English with your hosts, Christopher and Jenny. Until the next time, keep learning English and keep making money.